Sierra Software Tutorials. Hotfix Era plus Digitizing Methods. Part 1, Geometric Shapes and Vector Images. In this video we will explore the tools for creating bling objects using geometric shapes and vector artwork images. Let's start by creating a blank design and adjusting our workspace. We will open the document map and the Smart Design. We will also adjust the visualization controls to show solid vector figures, objects and solid beads. The default bling palette contains a set of assorted beads of different types. We will load a different palette, one that contains just rhinestone beads of different sizes and colors. The palette we choose will be saved with the design, so, when we load the design from disk to continue working with it or to modify it, the palette we used will be loaded and ready to use. Open the bead palette editor. Click on Palette and select Open. Then pick the Rhinestone Palette 3 and confirm. If we want to use this palette for all the new designs we will create, we can set it as the default palette using the Set as Default command inside the palette button. Let's start creating some bling objects using geometric shapes as a digitizing method. We are going to create a line type object using a predefined shape, so we will use the Path tool with single bling in this case. In our bling default palette, we will click on this element, a 6SS light blue bead. The background of the box with the order number becomes black, meaning that this bead will be used for the object we are about to create. We use the Smart Design, select Path with single bead and adjust the basic properties if necessary. For example, we will change spacing to 0.7 mm. Then, we open the Geometric Shapes gallery, pick a shape, click and drag. Most shapes allow us to move, adjust the size and rotate the shape before confirm and create the object. Dragging this handle, while holding the Shift key pressed, allow us to change the horizontal size keeping the center of the shape in its place. Then, we open the context menu, right-click, and confirm. We may also press the Enter key instead. The system creates a closed path object with a contour that follows the selected geometric shape. Despite the contour is closed, Hotfix Era placed the beads along the contour and not inside it. That is because we selected a path object type. One more, this time, using Path with multi-bling. We will select a couple of larger beads, like this 12SS red bead and this 8SS blue one, and set the spacing to 1 mm for both. We will also set the Beads On property to Path and Reference. We will select an ellipse. Click and drag. Then adjust the vertical size dragging this handle. Then the horizontal size, again, holding Shift in this case. And confirm by pressing the Enter key. This is the result. Let's create an inner area object, with uniform single bead fill type. Using the Smart Design, we can select the object type and fill style with a single click. Then we adjust some properties like spacing and choose a radial beads placement style. We will keep the margin from borders equal to 0 and we will use this small 4SS purple bead. From the Shapes gallery, we will pick the same shape we picked before, a rounded rectangle. Click and drag. Resize a little. And hit Enter. Although we used the same shape as in the previous example, Hotfix Era placed the beads inside the contour and filled it completely in this case, observing the spacing we have set. This is due we selected an inner area object type instead of a path. Let's notice that we also have beads on the contour, because our margin from borders property was set to 0. Let's create an area object with a more attractive fill type. From the Smart Design, we pick Inner Area with Grading Fill. Using the Object Inspector, adjust the spacing at start point to 3 mm and spacing at end point to 1 mm. Select radial grading type and use in small 4SS light red bead. Then, pick from the shapes gallery this heart shape. Click and drag. Some shapes can't be resized during creation, so, when we release the mouse button, the shape is completed and the object is generated. Let's adjust the effect a little bit. Up to this moment, we were working in creation mode. Now, we will enter into addition mode by clicking this command. By default, when we enter into addition mode, Hotfix Era automatically selects the last object we have created. With the mouse pointer over the object, we do a right-click to open the context menu and select Customize Bling Area. This arrow represents the grading effect. The start and end spacing values happen at the start and end of the arrow, and the spacing at intermediate point happens where this handle is located. We will move the end to this point by dragging and move the middle handle a little bit. Hotfix Era automatically recalculates the object beads according to the changes we made. Let's change to simulation view mode and take a look to our objects. We will also set a darker background. For our next example, we will create a design using a vector artwork image. We start creating a new blank design from the document tabs. We will use one of the sample image included with the product, and, to insert it, we will open the catalogs, select Images Vector and drag this image into the workspace. Let's notice that the artwork has some overlapped regions. We will clean them using the Simplify command from the main toolbar. We will also use the Rescale command to adjust the size of the image so as it matches the size we need for our design. This tool allows us to trace a reference over the image and then set the length the reference should be. Press the mouse button for the first point of the reference segment and drag. We can hold the Control key while dragging to get an horizontal or vertical reference. When we release the mouse button, we enter the desired length for the reference and press OK. Hotfix Era will scale the image so as the reference segment has the length we entered. Finally, we will move the artwork to the center of the workspace. This is not mandatory, but it is a good practice. Our next step is to select beads that better match the colors of the artwork. We will replace the first 3 beads using the palette editor. Select the first bead, look for Rhinestone Standard Round, set size to 4SS and select this green bead. Repeat for the second bead in the palette. And for the third one. Just some words about digitizing using vector artwork. When we need to create a design based on a reference image, we have to capture the shapes in the image and create contours from them. The traditional method, which we will explore in another tutorial, consists of tracing the contours by placing points joined by curves or straight lines following the edges of the image shapes. This is known as manual digitizing. When we use a vector image as a reference, those contours already exist in the image, so all we have to do is use them to create our objects. That is, we need to convert the contours of the shapes in the image into contours of Bling objects. The process to do this conversion is really simple in Hotfix Era. We will start with the leaves. Select the green bead to make it the active one. Select this vector figure. Convert it to inner area with uniform bling. Let's notice that Hotfix Era has created the new object using the contour of the figure, filled it with uniform fill using the default properties and entered into addition mode. We will tune some of the properties. Keep the spacing to 1 mm, set the margin to 1.2 mm and keep the default radial mode. As we will create several objects with the same properties, we will save this settings as user default to avoid repeating the process with each new object. From the Object Inspector, click this 3 dots button. Select Fill and click Save as User Default. To create the objects for the other leaves, we just need to click the figure and convert it to a bling object. This one. And this. Hit the Escape key to unselect the object, change the bead type to the second one in the palette, click the small orange figure and convert. Then, we repeat with the larger orange figure. Escape to unselect the object, select the third bead, select the figure and convert. We are almost done. Just some fine-tune to get a better result. We will hide the auxiliary objects to get a better view of the bling object. We will also adjust the background brightness, moving the mouse wheel over the background color icon. Let's explore the edges of the objects. A larger margin here will be better, so we click to select the object and increase the margin a little bit, to 1.5. Same here. Click and set the margin to 1.5. And here. Sometimes, selecting an object that lays inside other may be a bit tricky. We can use the document map or the bling object sequence to do that. Once it is selected, we change the margin to 1.5. We have completed all the shapes in our vector image. Let's take a look to our design using simulation mode. We have created a design from a vector image, using the contours already defined in the image in just a few simple steps. In the second part of this tutorial we will work with the digitizing tools prepared for pixel-based images. The Bling Digitizing chapter in the user's manual, within the Digitizing method section, contains more information about the topics we have seen in this video. Thank you for watching.